Hey, welcome to Comic Artist Pro Secrets. This is your host, Ethan Van Sciver, artist for DC Comics and others. I'm just a humble ink merchant. Um, Ink and superhero merchant. I think that's supposed to be. Okay, let me try that again. I'm just a humble ink and superhero merchant. That's better. Maybe that'll be my tagline. I like that. Listen, we're going to do another comic book commentary, but this is more like a story than a normal commentary. I doubt any of you have read this book before because this is actually the lowest selling comic of all time, and I drew it. I don't know, maybe this story will make some of you feel a little more encouraged and give you more hope. Meet Fuzzy Buzzard and Friends, number 1, published by Hall of Heroes in 1995. Yeah, that's my artwork right there. This is me. There's my little signature right there. That's proof, right? It says 1994, so I was 20 years old. And just a little background. I just graduated high school. I was doing caricatures at the mall for a living. I was illustrating children's books for this fellow. And I did about a dozen of those, and then suddenly, I created a character. At first, the character was called Fascist Frog. I changed it to Cyberfrog to be a little more commercial. He was just supposed to be kind of a mean frog that beat up bad guys really bad. And Cyberfrog, I did about 4 or 5 issues of it. And anyway, the author of the children's books that I was doing got really excited about the idea of doing comics. So he said, I have a book of puppet shows that I wrote, like puppet show scripts. And I wonder if you would take those puppet show scripts and turn them into comic book shorts. And then I could put out a comic book too, because comic books are really, really hip with the kids right now. That's right, it's 1994, so you bet they are. And he said, I'll pay you, and I think he paid me $600, which when I was 20 was an awful lot of money. So I was excited about drawing this comic book. Okay, so then Hall of Heroes. I found Hall of Heroes, which was the very first company that ever published me. They were located in Elkhart, Indiana, and they had a line of comics done by kids that were kind of my age, a little bit younger. One of them was named Matt Martin. There was another fellow named Trent Kanuga, and they were all doing these beautifully glossy comics. I think, oh God, they were 17, 18 years old, and they were kind of local phenomenons. And I bought their book. Here's the book that I bought, the actual copy too, in the stores, in the comic book shop. So here's Hall of Heroes Vortex, and this is kind of a Spawn kind of ripoff, except he is a servant of Jesus Christ. This is Elkhart, Indiana. Religious comics went over really, really well. You can see there's a lot of McFarlane influence in Matt Martin's work. But what Matt Martin shouldn't have done was put his phone number, or Alan's phone number, actually, the publisher, on the back of this comic, because I called it and said, hey, I want you to see Cyberfrog and then maybe publish Cyberfrog. I'm a young guy too. They saw it, they loved it, they published it. So Cyberfrog number 1 came out. We'll review that book later. And in the meantime, this fellow Tom Neely, who went by the name Mr. Tom, which was kind of his Dr. Seuss kind of name, like, I'm Mr. Tom. He used to go to elementary schools in New Jersey and put on these puppet shows. So anyway, he saw that I was doing this comic book. He said, hey, can you get them, arrange a deal where you could publish my comic book too at Hall of Heroes? And I was like, sure, yeah, no problem. So that's basically what happened. And he lived in Arizona. He would come and visit New Jersey. I think he owned a house up by the shore, but he lived in Phoenix, Arizona. So he had me fly down to Phoenix, Arizona, and basically put me up in his house to draw this comic book. And I couldn't go home until it was done. So literally, I was chained at his desk. Well, not literally. I guess I literally wasn't chained to the desk, but figuratively I was. We got to start using the word figuratively a little bit more instead of literally, because most of the time everything is figurative. So I was pinned down to the desk. I couldn't go home until this book was done, and so you better believe I got this book done quickly. Here it is. Here's a messy cat, a fuzzy buzzard. They're making a cake out of garbage. This is definitely a book for kids. And I think his idea was he was going to solicit this through Diamond and sell 1,000,000 copies, and then he would take the rest of them around to schools. And oh, look at this stuff. He would take the rest of this to schools, and he would sell them to kids. And in lieu of one of his children's books, you could choose to get a comic book instead. And look, I mean, he already knew about the fascist frog, Cyberfrog, that was under development then. Froggy Wonder. He did his own version of a superhero frog for me to draw. And this was just I don't know. This was kind of does look like Cyberfrog though, in the face a little bit. Yeah. So there it is. I mean, this comic, I finished it, and I finished it in 3 days. So however long this book is, and it must be 24 pages. So basically, here's the thing. If you take an artist out of his home and fly him all the way out to Phoenix, Arizona, and feed him nothing but Burger King, and he can't leave the desk except to sleep for 6 hours a night until a comic book is done, you'll get 24 pages in 3 days. Which is what happened. Here's an ad for one of his books. Here's the art for one of these children's books that I did. That's Rosita the Parrot there. Very early artwork by me. Anything else? Oh, look. There's 20-year-old Ethan Van Sciver there. Yeah, nice hair. You could even get a Froggy Wonder poster if you wanted to. So this is the thing. I started working on the second issue of Cyberfrog for Hall of Heroes, and it took a very long time for this to actually come out after I drew it, because I drew it in 1994, and it looks like it didn't come out until April of 1995. I don't know why, but the sales came back from Diamond, and this comic sold 26 copies in 1994 or 1995. 26 copies. I think he was hoping for something like 12,000. So this is I believe, and somebody, if anyone has a comic that has sold less, please let me know. For now, I'm wearing the crown of the lowest, having drawn the lowest selling comic book through Diamond that was ever solicited and distributed through Diamond of all time. And I'm going to check with Josh and Josh Jeppy. He can ask his dad, Steve, who runs Diamond. But I'm pretty sure, I feel confident that I own that crown. So Fuzzy Buzzard and friends, if you can find a copy of this gem, you are one of 26 people to have it. Good luck to you. Hey, listen, this was the Comic Artist Pro Secret channel. My name is Ethan Van Sciver. Would you mind taking a look and seeing that subscribe button, giving it a little click that bell, follow me. Let's get our subs up, and pretty soon we'll be doing live chats, which should be a lot of fun. We'll get back to the real comics tomorrow. We'll do a Flash Rebirth #3 review, I think, and some drawings as well. But there you go. You guys have a good night. Bye.